everybody, and welcome back to the Girly Girl Bookworm. So today I have my last 5 reads video, except it is actually the last 4 reads. We are right now in the middle of the Contemporary-thon, and I am vlogging it. But I wanted to keep these 4 books separate than the Contemporary-thon wrap-up because they don't belong together, and I don't want to do like 4 and then Contemporary-thon and then 1. Like, that's weird. So I just figured I'd get it out there, the last 4 reads. I have a book that I read throughout the week last week, and then I had a 3-day weekend last weekend, so I like knocked 3 more books out. So this is what I read. So the first book that I read last week was The Love Letter by Rachel Hawk. I was so excited to finally get to this book because I got it, like I pre-ordered it, and then I got it from the Fiction Guild, and I knew I had to, but I just wanted to wait till I finished the 3rd book in the series, her Royal Wedding series, before I got to this one, because I felt like kind of guilty, like I still have to finish the series before I start something new. So like I finished that, and then I like never picked this one up for some weird reason. So I finally did, and I'm so glad that I did. I gave this book 4 stars, which is weird for Rachel Hawk for me, unfortunately. I didn't love it as much as I've loved every other book by her, but it's still stunning and still amazing in her like unique writing style. Rachel Hawk likes to do parallel line stories between 2 different timelines, which is always really fun. And this mostly takes place in Hollywood. And it follows this man who is writing this screenplay for a new movie that was inspired by a love letter that he found from his like great times 6 grandfather. And he felt like that love story never had an ending, so he wanted to write that ending for his family. He also has something that tragically happened to him 8 years ago, which we don't necessarily know what that is until later on in the book, so I'm not going to spoil you. And then there's also this actress who she is known as like the queen of dying pretty much in the actress world because she has died in every single one of her movies. And she is determined to live. She is also going through some Hollywood drama of her own. And they obviously have a connection because she tries out for this movie. She really wants to, she sees herself in this character. And she wants to live finally. And it parallels with right around when America was trying to get their independence. It follows this man and this woman, and they're kind of like almost, I saw somebody, I think it was Amanda P.A. who kind of referred to it as like the Romeo and Juliet complex, where like they shouldn't be together, but they want to be together, but they can't. She comes from this loyalist family where they still stay loyal to the throne, and he is kind of on the other side where they obviously want their freedoms for America. And it kind of follows those stories parallel, and I really enjoyed it. I have to say, yes, this is Christian fiction, but it kind of went a little over the top. There was this like paranormal element where this man would just appear and he would say like, come follow me, and then like ooh, what happened? And it's like supposed to be like, okay, you're picturing like this god figure coming down to speak to them, and it just didn't feel necessary per se to the story, but that's kind of why it docked the 5th star. And also, it was a little bit predictable at the end. There was this like, ooh, twist. And I was like, I saw that coming like at the very beginning of the book. So it was a little bit more predictable than I would have liked, and a little bit more over the top with the Christian fiction. And I felt like this was the first time where it felt like reading a Christian fiction book while reading her books. So, to me, that was a little interesting. But other than that, she writes amazing, amazing characters and amazing, amazing settings, and you just feel like you're there and that you can connect to these characters. And I loved it, especially like just going to California recently. Like, I felt like I knew exactly where they were talking about, and I felt transported to this, and I flew through this book. So, as much as there was those 2 little negative things, I definitely loved the rest of the storyline, and I recommend this book immensely. Obviously, any book by her, I recommend. Now, this is my 2nd copy because I already have a copy. I pre-ordered this copy, and I got this copy from the Fiction Guild. They're identical, completely identical, other than I read this one. I didn't touch this one. And I am willing to give one of these away to a lucky viewer. If you are interested in entering into a giveaway for this book, please comment down below with anything just that sparks my eyes to see that you are interested in this book. Please comment down below. I'm going to keep this open until, let's just say, Saturday. Or I'll give you an extra week. How about a week from today? So today's the 19th, and it's a Wednesday. Whatever next Wednesday is, 19 plus 7, 26. So 26th, you have until the 26th to enter. Let me know down below if you're interested in this book, and I will pick a lovely winner, and I will contact them. I usually announce my winners on Instagram, so keep your eyes peeled on Instagram, and I'll try to contact you myself too, to see who will win this lovely copy of the love letter. So thank you to the Fiction Guild for allowing me the opportunity to do this. Then I picked up, because I posted that fall TBR, and I immediately was like, yes, it's finally fall. I can finally officially read this book. And I picked up #Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. I really enjoyed 10 by her, and her Getting Even. Oh, that's not what it's called. Her duology, Don't Get Mad. That's what it's called. Don't Get Mad. I love that duology, so when I saw that she was coming out with a new book, I knew I had to pick it up immediately. And oh my goodness, this book is crazy. This book follows this young woman, and she is in the generation where this, like, famous man now owns, like, the jail systems pretty much, and he owns this, like, island, which is supposed to be, like, Alcatraz 2.0 for all the criminals to go. And there's, like, this app, and when you go to this island, you're basically doomed to die because they have these, like, murderers come to, like, execute you. And, like, people can follow you online and like you and, like, buy merchandise for you and, like, not for you, but, like, to, like, show their representation. Like, it's insane. There's these forums, and every now and then you can see, like, the forums of what people are talking about. And so she was accused of a murder. And she was found guilty, even though she claims she was innocent. She wants to find out who actually killed her sister. And she gets sent to this island, and all, like, hell breaks loose. Like, she's trying to figure out how to survive. And she meets this, like, motley crew of people who they kind of refer to as, like, the Breakfast Club on death row. And they're trying to, like, figure this out. It was so intense. It's so creepy. I wrote in my blog a whole story about what happened while I was reading this book and why I was scared out of my pants. So if you want more information, definitely go check out my blog down below, because I was so terrified. And I cannot wait for the next book. I got to the end and I was like, oh my god, there's a book 2. And I looked it up, and it's coming out next summer, and I cannot wait for the next book. So it's campy. And there's a couple things that I had issues with, but other than that, I give it 4 stars. I thought this was just crazy fun for a YA, like, murder story. But you are so grateful that you do not live in this world, because it's insane. So good. Then I picked up The Good Liar by Catherine Mackenzie. This book follows 3 different women and their involvement with this building that blew up in Chicago. It's like the 1-year anniversary, and they're making a documentary, and this one woman's kind of like been the face of it because she happened to be there, and this photographer took her picture, and now she's like the face of it. This other woman believes that her adopted mother was in the building when it blew up. And then we aren't 100% positive what that other person's involvement is in the story, too. Her story starts to evolve and change as you read. This book was really good, too. This book I gave 4 stars. I have so much confusion on how to label this book. It's a mystery because you kind of are like, why did this building explode? These women are being really secretive. Again, so, like, kind of thrillery in that sense, too, where, like, you don't know who to trust. Someone's lying to us, but there was no, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? It wasn't very, like, suspenseful in that way, but it was definitely, like, intriguing, and I, like, kept wanting to know more. Like, this book, like, it feels really fat. I think it's only, like, 370 pages, so almost 400 pages, but you like float through it. You're like, ooh, what's happening? And you like go through, and I really enjoyed it. There's sections too where like there's like interview transcripts, and it was a lot of fun. I gave this book 4 stars. Didn't necessarily really love it, but I definitely, because there was some things that I was able to predict, but it was definitely kept you guessing. It had a lot of twists and it had a lot of turns, so I rather enjoyed it. It gave me a lot of like 9/11 vibes. It actually takes place on 10/10 at 10, so they call it what they call it, the triple 10 or something like that. So it kind of gives you that vibe of like 9/11 and what it must have been like to be those families that were related to this tragedy. So it gave really good vibes, and I really enjoyed this one more than I thought I would have, especially since I just randomly bought this on Amazon Prime Day without knowing a single thing about it. So I rather enjoyed this. And the last book that I read, I wanted to get that one last book in before Contemporary Thon started, and I picked up After the Game by Abby Glides. This is the 3rd book in the the Field Party series, and I really enjoyed this series. It takes like YA contemporary to another level. They really take their time with love romances, and they have tragic pasts, and they're flawed characters, and I really enjoyed the series. I don't want to say too much about it because it's a 3rd book in a series. They're all companion novels, but they do build off of the 1st and the 2nd book. Cannot wait to get to the 4th book and meet some more of these characters. I've met them in previous books, but it'll be nice to finally like let them shine and have them have a bigger role than they have in the past 3 books. So I'm really excited to get to that book at some point. So yeah, I had a pretty decent book reading thing. That made sense. As you can tell, I've got a cold, so like I make sense most of the time. But yeah, I did pretty good. So I finally got to Rachel Hawk, which I bought and wanted to read over the summer. And 3 books off of my fall TBR video already. That's pretty impressive. I'm pretty excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My plan is to film my September book haul very soon, probably within the next day or 2. And I'm obviously vlogging for Contemporary Thon right now, so I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And I will definitely see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bella. You're so cute.